Hey, I'm Monet Capri, and you're watching Faithful and Stylish TV. So, you guys have heard about before I moved, the initial reaction to moving. You've learned about how I was tested in my friendships. And now it's time to get into the nitty-gritty. Now we're about to dive into what really helped me get to the place where I am right now. How I was tested, how I was tried, how I grew my faith, how I strengthened my faith, how I reached new levels of faith I didn't even know I had. It's about to get real. I'm super excited about the next few videos because they really encouraged me as I think back on them, and I know that it will bless so many people to know how God came through for me. And even when it looked like this isn't it, this isn't for me, I kept the faith and relied solely on the word of God to carry me. Yeah, this is super exciting to really dive into like the real stuff, So it started a little bit before I actually moved. I felt like I needed to have a job set in stone just so that I will have an income, I'll have something to live off of. And so I'm like, okay, God, if I'm moving, you're gonna supply the job for me and I won't have to worry about my finances. So about a month before, I began to apply for jobs around the area that I would be living in, and I came across Forever 21. I worked for Forever 21 before. I was a visual merchandiser, then I got promoted to management. So I was very familiar with the company. I'm like, I know what they're looking for. I've been a hiring manager before, so I know what to say. And I'm like, okay, I got this in the bag. This is easy peasy. Can make some money until I get to where you want me to be. I received a phone call from the store, and I was like so excited. I believe they left me a voicemail because I didn't get to it in time. And I listened to the voicemail, and she just seemed super excited, to meet me and, to get the interview process started. And so I called back and let her know that I wasn't going to be in California for another month or so. And if the position was still available, could I interview then? She said that would be fine, and that's super exciting that I'm moving, and that she was excited to meet me. So I'm like, okay, cool, got a job set. You just really feel like, okay, if you interviewed with a company before, you've worked for them, you know what they're looking for, then it's gonna be easy, it's gonna be a cakewalk. So fast forward, I moved there, we went through all of that, and the interview is coming up. So on my way to the interview, is walking distance from where I'm living. I'm praying. I'm like, okay, God, I, pray for a favor. I pray for the right thing to say, just really, taking God along with me to this interview. So I get to the store. It's beautiful. It's at a beautiful outdoor mall right across from the ocean. And it's just like, I would love to work there. Just the atmosphere is a lot different from Chicago. And I was excited to be in a new environment and working, in such a beautiful place. So I meet the hiring manager, and I immediately get a bad vibe. Something is just not feeling right. And I'm trying to shake it off because I'm like, no, that's just the devil trying to discourage me, trying to knock me off my game. So I focus and block out, the quote unquote negativity. So I'm interviewing with the manager, and she's being real standoffish, like I'm kind of wasting her time or whatnot. And I'm just like, this is weird. you don't seem excited, you know, to be in this interview with me. And it just made me feel really, really, really strange and, you know, just very uncomfortable. And so I'm really saying the right things. Like, I know I'm saying the right things. Like, they're really basic interview questions. You know what a company wants to hear. That's like, I knew what to say. I wanted to shake it off. I didn't want to have a negative, you know, view about it, because I'm like, hey, I need this job. Like, so I'm like positive thinking. So fast forward through like me, you know, doing a follow-up email, follow-up call, I didn't get the job. I'm like, how in the entire world did I not get that job? Like, I know I did well. And I'm just like freaking out. That was my first no being in California. I'm like, God, what am I gonna do to support myself? I immediately got sick to my stomach after I received that no. God, what's happening? Why didn't I get this job? I should have got it. And it really made me feel like I made a huge mistake moving. What am I gonna do from this point? I just start applying to different places. I knew that I wanted to do something more than just working retail, because that's what I did back home in Chicago. But I knew that that would be an easy industry for me to get into because of all of my experience. There was nothing for a while. I was just applying, and I just saw nothing, you know? So I went through a lot of like doubt and like, God, did I hear you right? Because it doesn't feel like I heard you right, because nothing is going the way that I thought it would. You know, I'm dealing with a lot of uncomfortableness, and it was really making me feel like it was me who made the decision to move, instead of, you know, me listening to God and him leading me here. You know, I really felt like I made a huge mistake. So I was faced with so many obstacles that made me feel like I made the wrong decision. I would either be running late, it would be too long of a commute, because I'm still getting used to being in California, knowing where different cities are and how far away they are from where I'm living. And it just was like, it was overwhelming. When I look back, I'm like, I can't believe that I really, you know, made it through, and that I really got to where I am, because there was so many moments where I'm just like, I'm about to use whatever I have scraped up and buy me a one-way ticket back home, because this is not it. This can't possibly be why God brought me here. For me to struggle, for me to be hit with no after no. You know, after making a major move to move across the country, you would think that it would go a little smoother. And you know, I'm still growing. You know, we're all growing in our faith. And what this experience taught me was that just because, you know, God is leading you somewhere, it does not mean that it's going to be a beautiful walk in the park. He is taking you through a journey, through a process. He be stripping you down and really getting you to a place where all you can depend on is him. So anywho, I ran across another job to work at Forever 21, but this time it was for the corporate office. So I was like, okay, God, the reason why I didn't get the Forever 21 position at the store was because you were lining me up to work corporate. I get it. And I was like, oh, this is for me. I'm so excited. Basically, I would be the visual merchandiser, the one who puts together the packages that go out to the different stores. I would be contributing to that process. And I don't know if anyone's familiar with being a visual merchandiser, but the corporate office creates a package for the stores to execute. And so I was going to be on the team that prepared that package, that put together the displays, take pictures, and all of that. So I was super excited to be actually the one on the other side of it, creating it for the store level. So I'm like, yes, God, now I get it. Thank you so much for, you know, bringing me to this point and making me realize that I should never give up on you and all of that. So I go to the interview and I'm like, I'm just pumped throughout the whole thing. So I get there and I'm sitting down and I'm looking around at the store. The store wasn't open yet. And so I'm just looking around at like the displays and just getting a real feel for like their style. Because even though it's a company, every store is different, and I just wanted to make sure that I was staying along the lines of, you know, the direction that they were going in. And so the interview process started. We talked a little bit, just strict, like, honestly, we talked for like 15 minutes, and then she was like, okay, let's hit the floor. I want to see what you got. We can sit here all day and talk, but I really want to see what you can do. And I was like, here we go, my time to shine. Like, I'm about to perform. I'm about to put on a good show for her, and I'm really about to show her, you know, my style and why she needs to pick me for this job. And so she told me to do a wall display, meaning I had to get the shelves, I had to get the face outs, I had to get the hang bars and everything in between, and put together a whole wall display. This may be a little foreign if you're not familiar with it, but I had to put that together in 30 minutes. No, she gave me an hour, I believe. An hour and 45 minutes, I don't remember. But I have to do that. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. Like, I worked at Forever 21 before. I know what they like. And I felt like I'm a strong enough visual merchandiser to, you know, finesse this. So I'm putting together I'm getting my outfits together for the wall. And I'm having a block. I cannot think creatively to save my life. I'm like, God, give me, you know, lead me to the clothes that you want me to display. Give me a sign, you know, lead me to what I need to display, because right now I'm at a block. Like, I can't get past it. I just felt stuck. So I just started pulling things, and I stayed within like the theme that I wanted to go for. Made sure that I can speak on it, and you know, I just tried my best. But I just really felt deep down inside that I didn't do a good job. I always assume, like, whenever I'm faced with like a negative vibe, oh, that's just the devil trying to discourage me. But a lot of the times through my experience of trying to find a job, it wasn't him. It was really like, I knew that it wasn't for me, but I was just trying to fight so hard because I needed something. You know, I wanted to be validated. So I didn't get the job at Forever 21, and I had a breakdown. It's like I couldn't catch a break. It was becoming overwhelming. It was becoming very, very overwhelming for me. My favorite thing to do would be to take a walk to the ocean, sit on the rocks, and pray. I would literally sit there and be talking to God out loud, not caring if anyone was walking past me, if they thought I was crazy. It just didn't matter. That's the only thing that kept me sane, was the fact that I could talk to God. And it was so freeing. And every time I was done, I felt so much better. And so I just made that a routine for me. Like, I would leave for evenings and just go on a walk and just talk to God. I began to go running just as something to, you know, take away the pain and take away the negativity that I was feeling. I wasn't living happy. You know, I was making the best of it because I'm like, I'm in such a beautiful place. The weather is beautiful. But deep down inside, I was feeling horrible. Like, I may have had a smile on my face, but that was my faith pushing through. Because even when I wanted to give up, even when everything showed me that I should give up, that life showed me like, girl, you may have made a mistake. You know, when my parents came to visit me, it was when the jobs weren't falling together. Like, nothing was sticking. Like literally things were just like happening that made me feel like I need to go home. I need to go back home. This is not for me. This is not, you know, of God. You know, he started saying things like, God wouldn't want me to go through this, so I know I'm not in the right place. And so my parents came, and that like gave me a boost of confidence. And I was finally getting, you know, back to that faith point where I'm like, okay, we're good. You know, you can do this, Monet. Like, just keep fighting, keep fighting. One thing I learned is when we say things, we have to be careful what comes out of our mouths. I remember one thing that someone told me that I will never forget. They told me that they can't help but think that I came to California prematurely. And that was right after I finally got my confidence back, and that I really started using the faith that God had put inside of me. I just got to a place where I'm accepting, like, this is a part of my journey. You know, it's a part of my journey to go through this stuff and to be tested in my faith and to strengthen it's used to strengthen my faith. I got to that place, and for someone to tell me that they think I should leave, at that moment I was like, you have to defend your dream. When just someone says something flat out against what you think that you're supposed to be doing, you naturally get defensive. And I found myself having to defend my dream. And at that moment, I knew that I was supposed to be there. Something clicked immediately when I heard that, because what came to my mind was what God told me. And we so quickly forget that what God tells us when we're faced with adversity, faced in a place where it's hard and where it's tough. We forget, you know, that God spoke to us and told us to do that very thing because we're so uncomfortable. But in that moment when someone told me that I came prematurely, I was like reminded of what God said to me, of the stories that I read, that God pointing out lines of his word that applies to my life. The very words that strangers would say to me that had no clue what I was going through or had no clue what I was considering doing in moving to California, saying things that only God would know. All of that stuff came to my mind, and it made me realize, you're supposed to be here. You are supposed to be here. Like, I thank God that I heard that, because it reminded me that I was supposed to be there. And it made me put on the armor of God, and it made me want to be a warrior, and it made me want to fight back, because I knew at that moment that this is where I'm supposed to be. And after that, my faith ignited, and I just knew that I was supposed to be there. So I applied at Wet Seal, and at that moment I'm like, okay, did I apply to Wet Seal? Y'all, literally, I applied at so many places that I can't remember. My first job working was Wet Seal. So the interview process for Wet Seal was like mind-blowing. Like, when I tell you, after dealing with like, you're not supposed to be here, you came here prematurely, my faith ignited. When I applied for Wet Seal, I had researched Wet Seal because I'm like, I know their corporate office is in California, I can move up. So I was hopeful that could be an outcome, because I knew I didn't want to work in store forever. And so I went to the interview, and I will never forget her. Her name is Terry, and she was such a light. And when I got there, she was just so excited to meet me. She told me that she had her other management team read my resume and read my cover letter because she was so impressed. She said she never received anything, you know, like that. And I'm like, okay, girl. I'm like, that's pretty normal, but I was super excited. So it was just a beautiful interview. Like, she was just so amazed by, you know, my experience and all of the stuff that I could do, and made me feel good, you know. And so she set up an interview with the district manager, and I had a phone interview with him. And he was the same way. Like, he was so excited to meet me. He heard a lot of great things about me. So I got that job. I was the visual merchandiser assistant manager for Wet Seal. And so I was excited about that because that was in the field that I wanted to go to if I worked retail again. And the corporate offices was in California. I can easily move up, boom, bam. And so I'm working at Wholesale, I'm loving it. Fast forward, I got that job in November 2016. January 2017, I got the news that Wholesale was going out of business. I was like, really? Really? Like, this has to be like a joke. I had just met the regional manager. I told her my goals. I told her that, you know, I wanted to work corporate. She told me that she was going to have me come to the district office to, you know, work a little bit with the corporate team. And I'm just like, you're going out of business? I'm like, God, like, what's happening? I'm like, I thought this was it. I thought this was my job. And so I got sick to my stomach again because I'm like, I need a job. I can't go back to not having one. I was like, I'm not gonna take this news and I'm not gonna get discouraged. I'm gonna use this to push me forward. So when I got the news, I had went on lunch and I just started applying for jobs on Indeed. Indeed is my favorite app, by the way. I have a few. Indeed is one of my favorite apps still. With a job, it's my favorite app. Anywho, I got on Indeed, just started applying for jobs. I had my resume and my cover letter already uploaded to the app, and I was just easily applying for jobs. And so fast forward, and I began to work at New York & Company. And I'm like, never in a million years did I think that I was gonna work for a New York & Company. But I'm like, hey, if it pays the bills, then let's go. Because that's what I need right now. I got the job and began to work. You know, I went from one job to the next. So I began to work at New York & Company, quickly realized that it was not for me and it was just strictly to get me higher pay. I'm like, God, I'm ready for a new job. I was working like 50, 60-hour weeks because I was the only manager. Come to find out, the whole management team just quit on me. And so I was the only manager. And I had no time to myself. Like, I was literally working all the time, 13-hour days. And I was like, no, I need to find a new job because I was beginning to get tired and just feeling sick. And so I applied for Target. They already had my information because someone reached out to me prior to me working at New York & Company. So I just called the number back and, you know, asked if they had any open availability. And she told me that her district didn't have any open availability, but she would pass along my information to another district. And I received a call from an Orange County district. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, I'm just ready to get out of working at New York & Company. So I applied for Target as visual merchandiser, and I got it. Just the whole process was just a breeze. Never would I have thought that I would be working for Target, but it has really been like a really, really great experience. I've met some great people and I love it, you know. And so it just took me, I just look back and I think about all that I went through while trying to find a job here. And it was an up and down, you know, ride. I had my high points where I thought that jobs were for me, and then I fell right to the ground, but I got back up. And it just really taught me how to persevere. It really taught me how to never give up. And that when God tells you to do something, you do it. No matter what anyone says, no matter what you're faced with, you have to have faith that what you heard was true. And I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew that God told me to come here. I knew that this is where I'm supposed to be. But what I had to learn was that, yes, I'm supposed to be here, and I was also supposed to go through everything that I went through. God is literally laying the foundation for me. He's teaching me how to deal with a no. He's teaching me how to keep pushing when everything is against you. He's teaching me how to persevere. He's teaching me how to use that faith that is deep down inside of me and that he's given me for moments like this. Like, it's not going to be a walk in the park. Those fairy tale stories of people, you know, it's coming easy to them, beautiful, but that's not teaching anyone anything, because 9 times out of 10 it's not going to happen that way. There's going to be trying times, there's going to be difficulties, and you're going to have to keep pushing. Yes, God tells you to do something, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen like 1, 2, 3 ABC. You might have to go through something. You might have to go through some pain, some suffering, some tough times, but that doesn't mean that you're not on the right track. It's all a part of the plan. And I had to realize that. I had to realize that I had to want it for myself, that I can't expect anyone to have faith for me, that I can't expect people around me to understand what I'm going through, or for people around me to understand that this is a part of the plan. I had to have tunnel vision. I had to focus on what God had told me. I had to pray. I had to stay in my word. And I had to make the decision that I wasn't going to stop until I got it. Still to this day, I have to keep that same mindset, you know? I have to keep pushing despite it all. I have to remember why I'm here. I have to remember that there's a bigger thing going on, bigger than me, you know? And so you just really be careful with what you allow to discourage you, or what you allow to steer you into a direction. If God didn't say it, it's not valid, you know? And so it doesn't matter if you don't have nobody in your corner. It doesn't matter if all you got, because you got God too. And so this experience of finding a job really taught me a lot. It taught me so much, and I'm so thankful. And I wouldn't have learning those lessons any other way, because let me tell you, I gained so much. I gained so much strength. When I tell you, I feel unstoppable a lot of times. I feel strong, because if I made it through that, then I can make it through so much more. If God can take me from the bottom and put me in places where I'm meeting the top executives of companies, then he can take me anywhere. What I want you guys to get from this is to keep going. Do not stop. Keep pushing. Keep striving for best. If you know what you're supposed to be doing, go do it. If you know the direction that you're supposed to be headed, go do it. And don't allow anything or anybody to stop you, because I didn't. And if I can do it, you can do it. You know, if you have any questions, or you know, you're trying to figure out something, I promise you, I know my story can help you. So just reach out to me, put it in the comments below. Just let me know I'm here for you. And I don't want what I went through to just, you know, be for me. Like, I know it's for a bigger purpose than just for me. And so that is what I went through, trying to get a job, finding an amazing job, and almost feeling like a little ashamed of it. And that's another video that I'm going to do, is how I felt ashamed of working for Target. I was ashamed, and I want to dive into that, you know, in a different video. I don't know if it's going to be next. It may be the video after the next, because next I want to talk about how I got my apartment. That's another, man, that's another trying time. But yeah, that's my journey with finding a job, and how it really pushed me in a way to, you know, continue to have faith despite it all. Literally, despite it all. There's so many people who have told me they're blessed by my journey, and I'm just like, wait until you really know what I went through. I knew I wanted to share my low points eventually, because I know that people will go through this. This is real. This isn't something new. Like, I'm not the first one to deal with adversity. I just want to show people that even with adversity, you can make it. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're done, that nothing good is going to come for you or any of that. It's just a part of life, and it's to make you stronger. I'm telling you, if everything would have fell in line with what I wanted it to, I would not be strong like this. I would not feel unstoppable. I will not feel like with God anything is possible. We say with God anything is possible, but you don't really know that until you're in a position where you're like, I have nothing. God, I need you. If you don't come through for me, I'm out here. So you have to go through moments where you have nothing but God to realize your purpose, to realize that you're meant to go on. So I hope that you guys got something from this video and that you learned something, and that you never, ever, ever give up no matter what. Because if you know that you're supposed to be doing it, it will fall together. I promise you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Comment below with, your experience of not giving up and many lessons that you have to share with someone that may be going through something similar. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Bye. Okay, no, I don't need to say all that. See, this is why I need to write. This is why I need to write, because I just ramble on and on and on. Okay. So I don't want to